It's clean, I'll wear it. And in today's video, we're going to discuss pork butt, sometimes referred to as a Boston butt or a pork shoulder. It's a pretty straightforward piece of protein to cook, but if you're a beginner or an intermediate, you might say, it's a little intimidating. Can you help me out? And yes, we're going to help you out. That's me and Jordan.
I felt a lot of pork butts.
Jordan's up getting the fire ready to go, and we're going to throw a pork butt on it and kind of walk you through some steps to hopefully have you nailing the pork butt in no time at all. So I better go help Jordan. I'll see you there.
Well, hey, Jordan.
Well, hey, JD.
Pretty day to cook a pork butt.
Yeah, it is.
Well, today we're going to talk about a cut that is not really viewed as being a very difficult cut, but we have an offset, we have a pork butt, and maybe we have a beginner out there, and this piece is a really good starting point.
This is the perfect piece of meat to start out cooking because it can take a whooping, and it's resilient. It's resilient. It's hard to mess up. It's a long cook. It works on your stamina of being a cook, and there's not much trim to it. So I think it takes away that intimidating factor when you don't have to trim.
Well, what we want to do is set somebody up who's never cooked one, just give them an idea how really to position it. Of course, barbecue is subjective. You can put it in there any way you want, but these are great tips from somebody who I consider to be a top tier expert. Not much trimming needs to be happening. Walk us through what we're going to do to get this thing ready to go on the pit.
This is your money muscle. Here's the blade. We are going to put...
That's a bone right there.
That money muscle towards this stack, and this is the firebox. We're going to put the bone towards the firebox. This thing can take quite a bit of seasoning. You're only going to season about 15% of it on the outside. The rest of it will not be seasoned. Most people, when they cook them and they pull them apart, they'll add seasoning, a little extra seasoning or sauce to it to help flavor it. It's a pretty bland piece of meat.
Not much trimming needs to happen. We're going to get the smoker going to 225.
Yep.
How about you go check the fire? I'll give it a little bit of rub if you don't mind.
You know how?
Oh, I think I can get through it.
All right, I'll trust you.
All right, so we're going to start on the back side of the pork butt, and that's just going to allow us to really our presentation side to look really nice. And we're going to put it on here pretty liberally. We've got salt, pepper, and garlic. Then I'm going to flip it over. Once again, we didn't trim it, so we're just going to go ahead and hit it with, again, liberal seasoning. You can get as much on there. We don't have a binder. You can put a binder on there if you want, but we've got some moisture on this pork butt, so we're just going to let that moisture be our binder. Do a little tapping right here. A little tapping right here. Let's get a little bit over here on the side. I'm just going to pat some of this on there, and we're ready to go. Jordan, come take a look at this. How'd I do?
I don't know if I could have done that any better.
If you open the door, I'll set it on there.
You're making my job easy.
All right. So we've got our money muscle right here on the top. We're going to face it towards the stack. And I'm just going to put it about right there. We've got no water pan. We're just going to let this thing run. We've got 225 dialed in.
Yep.
Let's get to cooking. So Jordan, we've got our pork butt in here, often referred to as a Boston butt as well. This really is going to be content catered to the beginner or somebody that's sitting on the sidelines going, you know what, I want to get into this stuff. But there's not a lot of information, and that's one of the things that I find to be a little bit of a bottleneck or some gatekeeping is that there's not really entry-level stuff for people who are sitting on the sidelines going, I want to do this. And I think that's really important for people to grasp what part the cook plays and what part the vessel plays. We've got us a great coal bed, and we've built great embers. Now we're graduating into just the fire management side. And we're going to do, adding splits, timing the splits to go in. We're going to look at our fire style and what heat we're created. We started out at 225 degrees. We'll carry that about 2 hours.
And bump it up to about 250 for a couple hours. And then we'll go up to about 275 for an hour or so and check to see if it's ready to wrap. And if we like where it's at, we're going to wrap it. We're going to put it back in the pit, same orientation. Then we're going to push it up to 300 and finish it.
So roughly we're looking at about 8 hours.
All approximates.
And times are not really important.
No.
The temperatures we're going to ignore. We just want to really focus on this part of the vessel, which is the firebox. If you don't know much about fire management, we've also made a video about fire management that you can watch. But tell me some of the pitfalls that maybe as a cook that's brand new to this, that they may be thinking that they need to ignore.
I think that they probably assume that the pit is going to do all the work, and that couldn't be further from the truth. I have to be the one that manipulates it. You have to, they have to. That is the brains of the pit. All decisions go through there before it goes into that chamber, and if you're making bad decisions, you're making bad barbecue. That is one of the most well-built vessels on the market. It's going to be easier to cook on this thing versus the big box store, the quarter-inch offsets. They're harder to cook on. It's a different learning curve.
Especially some of the cheaper 5mm, really thin.
Yeah, I mean,
you're just going to struggle more. Not that means you can't make great barbecue, but you're going to have, you know, I use the analogy of a guitar. If you're a kid and you got a guitar and the strings are set up, you know, an inch away from the fretboard, you're going to play it for a couple of days and your fingers are going to be bleeding. It's going to be impossible. You're going to put it in the corner and you're never going to touch it again.
When your vessel is well engineered and it's easier to cook on, it gives you more spirits to cook better barbecue, and it makes it easier so you don't have to worry about that aspect of it being good or bad.
Right.
So once you have that out of the way, then you just got to worry about manipulating airflow, wood splits, timing, all that. Everything that goes into the firebox, and all those decisions that you make go into that chamber and make your barbecue.
So the emphasis is not really placed on the rubs, the injections, the spritzing, all that. That is very little to do with the cook. Over 80% of it or more is right here.
I think people focus on the wrong things. They focus on gadgets, which gadget they need, probes, water pans, tallow, spritzes. That has never made me make better barbecue. You know what did? Technique.
So for you at home, whatever offset you may have, the most important thing is understanding, for the remaining of the cook, we're gonna focus heavy on the splits going in, the management of the fire, how your splits ignite, and keeping your coal bed active. And we'll continue to monitor this cook for the next couple hours. We'll see it at 225, we'll bump it to 250, and we'll take you guys through the journey.
So we just finished hour 4, and 2 hours at 225, 2 hours at 250. Now we're bumping it up to 275. And I'm just kind of looking at the color and seeing it's in great shape. I don't know how long we're going to run it at 275 until we need to wrap it.
But this is a resilient piece of meat. It can take the heat. That's a little hot, and that's no big deal. It's got pretty good even bark being formed, so that's a really good thing. We've got our money muscles looking good here. Even back here where the bone is, everything looks really nice. And I guess we just go back into fire management. It's not a difficult cut, but if you've never done this, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking, so to speak. So you just want to take a look at it, you know, every couple hours. That's not something you need to look at every 15 minutes. Just trust it's being cooked. If your fire management's right, it's being cooked evenly, and it's going to come out great. The bark's going to look great. So we're going to shut her back down, and 275, you say, eh? Well, Jordan, we've made some pretty good progress. We're about 6.5 hours into the cook. We know it's probably time to wrap because these guys showed up, and they always show up when it's time to
either pull or wrap. Well, there's our specimen. It's looking good.
It's fat separating.
Yeah,
we still got some really good bark. We got some really nice bark back here on the money muscle. Show the folks how we're going to determine this thing's ready to wrap.
So I'm going to poke it in different areas and kind of feel the give. See how easy that's going in? So now we're just going to wrap it and finish it. We're going to bump it up to 300. I think it's ready.
All right, Mr. Raw Paul right here. Now you don't have to do that at home, but Jordan, he's been cooking in the commercial restaurant for a long time and he prefers not to use gloves, and that's his choice. We're gonna let him do that. You can use gloves if you want to, but he didn't. So let's go ahead and wrap this thing up.
That's just one less thing I gotta worry about. All you gotta do is remember which side's your money muscle, which side's your bone. One or the other or both. So I'm just gonna wrap it. I'm gonna make it, I want these seams to be parallel with each other, so like that. I'm gonna fold it over one more time. It's upside down right now, fat is down.
So where's the bone, where's the money muscle?
Bone over here, money muscle right here. I'm gonna, and this is where this end should land.
There you go.
Fold it back up.
Perfect wrap of a pork butt. We're gonna stick it back in there, same direction.
Yep. Money muscle, bone. Same spot. It's back on. There we go.
So now for the remaining of the cook, we're 6.5 hours in. We're going to judge this thing being done when it's roughly, we're going to give it a temp, but we're going to give it a feel.
Yeah. I like 207 degrees.
207 degrees, 207.
On the center of the center of the
Good
center.
number.
And I'm also gonna poke it.
It's going to carry a little bit in the foil especially. So we've got about another, we're done with smoke.
Yep.
We don't have to worry about running such a clean fire, but we will.
We're gonna kick it up.
And we're going to pop it up to, let's say 300.
300.
So your question might be, we've wrapped the pork butt, it's in the chamber. How long do I keep it in there? Well, that's going to be a judgment of really two things. You can put the thermometer in and get it up to about the 205, 207 mark. It's going to continue to carry. That means when you pull it out in the foil, it's still going to be cooking. But we're going to pull it out based upon feel, because this guy, he's felt a bunch of them.
I felt a lot of pork butts.
That's on him. Now, we'll go ahead and probably say another hour and a half-ish.
We're gonna check it in an hour. Hopefully it's done in an hour and a half.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's go.
Well, Jordan, you said to get a tray. I got one. That means we have us a pork butt done.
Yep.
Well, the cool thing about this thing is these folks here at home, they also know how to make a pork butt. Now, remember, you need to go back and watch the fire management video here, link it again, because 80% or more of what you're doing is gonna happen right here.
Yep.
This right here, that's the easy part. So Jordan, how are we gonna determine that this thing is ready to eat?
With my poker.
Now we're just gonna poke it only?
Gonna poke it. I'm gonna try to see if I can get the right temp, which is about 205, 207.
Okay.
But I'm gonna poke it mainly. I wanna see what it feels like. It needs to be with no give. So, ooh, see how easy that happened? Hit the bone, look at that.
All right, well, I saw that thing going through the pork butt, but I also saw the numbers 205 on there, so you hit your target. Now we'll just throw it on here and take it to the butcher block.
Yep.
Well, Jordan, we got this thing sitting here on the butcher block, and I guess that's all we need to do, so I guess,
think-
whoa, what?
You
You gotta let it rest.
You gotta let it rest.
We tried to say that together, but we just didn't do it.
We didn't even plan
We
that.
didn't even plan it.
No.
No, you're gonna let this thing come down to 150, 145 maybe, and we'll get to chopping it up, making some sandwiches here soon.
Chop, chop, chop.
Chop, chop. All right. We'll just let you rest. Don't go anywhere. Stay right there.
All right, we'll be back.
That was yummy. That was excellent. And I hope you enjoyed our conversation discussing really the introduction of cooking a pork butt. Yes, a lot of the emphasis was on the fire management, which you can watch that video again here. But no matter what you're cooking, about 85 to 90% of the effort's going to come from the management of a fire of an offset. Doesn't really matter what you have in the chamber, but it was a no-frills cook. We didn't score the fat cap. We didn't do a water pan. We didn't spritz. It was pretty straightforward, and it turned out delicious, and I hope you learned just a little bit about cooking a pork butt or a Boston butt. And Jordan, 2 thumbs up. See you in the next video.